We're live. A little laggy on my end. I got a little choppiness. I don't know if it's my end or your end. But the farm's
I
back.
think you're fine. I think you're fine. I mean, we both pay for premium internet. What does that even mean anymore? It's like that thing where you just keep upgrading it, and it just like the base service as you upgrade it just gets
Yeah.
worse and worse. It's like, okay, well, there was a Black Mirror episode about that. It's like,
Yeah. Well, you just kept upgrading. It was that one with the guy with red hair, right? That it was just like he kept upgrading. It was for his wife, and then she kept getting ads. It was Rashida Jones, I think. Is that her name?
yeah, that's right. And it's just like you
From
couldn't ever reach the top level without just absolutely just getting
Yeah, and at the end she
screwed.
was just like, kill me. Just end
Yeah.
it. Um,
But yeah, we're here to break down the Wyndham in our backyard, and then the season really, because next week really starts the playoffs. So 70-man field, last full field event before the fall swing. Hopefully, we can win in our backyard, get some home court advantage here. I like this slate a good bit. I was twinning the 888 this week, and just trying to dial it back into football, but I was talked into it by yours truly. So I'm gonna go after it again this week. And I think there's a couple different angles I want to take, and maybe get lose some ownership, right? We can start with the course. We can start with the player field. Where do you want to start?
yeah, just over the course. I think it's yeah. Wyndham Clark said it best. Like, this is a course anybody can win. Um,
You
we're
mean
like,
said it best?
what's the best? Who did I say?
I think he said Wyndham Clark, which is funny because
Yeah.
Wyndham Championship, and he would be a terrible fit for this
He would be
course.
terrible for. But yeah, generally speaking, the reason anyone can win this is because you don't have to hit it a mile off the tee. Right? Like this is one of those courses you can be like basically last in driving distance off. And like there's been guys that are basically last that have been top 5 winners here. And I think part of it, right, there's like a putting variable which can be highly unpredictable at times. But accuracy is super important. So like that will be something I'll be looking at a lot. Like again, length doesn't matter, but you do want to be highly accurate here, and that will help. Around the green game is another area that I feel like is a strong indicator at this course. And then obviously guys that we know can spike with the putters. Like like a guy, and then I'm diving right into it. I like Gerard, but like, does Gerard hit enough putts to win this tournament? Does he hit enough putts to contend here? And I don't know. I like the.
Yeah,
Like,
we're talking about Gerard, and we can go a little. We can start there if you want, but Gerard did everything with the putter last week. It's like his irons weren't as good, so like he was very good putting, and that's not typical Gerard fashion, right? So if he tries to lean on the putter here, it's not going to work. People are like, "Oh, you want to be good around the green?" Listen, trust me. If you're playing around the green here, you're not gonna win. I need guys to contend. Like, I don't really care if you're good around the green. If you're hitting fairways and greens, you shouldn't be playing around the green here, right? It's gonna be pretty soft course this week. We've had so much rain in the Carolinas here recently. It's been no different this week. Just constant rainstorms on and off all week. So I think you're gonna see a little bit of that again. So par 70, right? Just over 7,100 yards. As you mentioned, you can club down here. So it doesn't mean like you're gonna be wildly inaccurate. Even these long guys that are typically inaccurate are bad fits. But like guys like Eric Cole, who are short and inaccurate, you just can't play them, right? I'd mentioned to you off stream that I really like Davis Chatfield. And Davis Chatfield's 6'3". And part of the impetus there is, we'll look at data golf, and I'll show you a little bit of what I'm looking at today. But these short iron ranges, right? So data golf segments a little bit differently. You have 100 to 150 and then 150 to 200. But really what I'm looking for is that 125 to 150 range. And looking at PGA Tour stats specifically, Davis Chatfield was number 1 on tour from 125 to 150 yards. And he's 6'3", and he's an absolute fairway monster. He's 5'6" and a buck 10 maybe, as far as his weight's concerned. But listen, he's not a prize fighter, right? So he's a guy that's going to hit a lot of fairways, hit a lot of greens. It just needs to hit some putts, and I think he's going to be a great play at 6'3". So he's kind of a guy that
I see. Are you doing from 150? What are you doing? What range are you doing for irons?
Davis Chatfield on PGA Tour, you can go to the stats. They have their stats, and I don't know the time frame for their stats, but yeah, Davis Chatfield.
Okay, it's got to be recently because I'll pull up his data golf. So like in data golf, we're not seeing a ton. Like I'm not seeing a ton.
No, yeah, because data golf, the segments are different. I just mentioned that if you're listening here. So the segments are only from 100 to 150 and then 150 to 200, right? So for this particular stat is the 125 to 150 range. That's where Chatfield is number 1.
Okay, and I mean, so it would be 125 to 150 would still be within the 100 to 150, right? That is just adding 25 yards on the.
It's more specified.
Yeah, but it's only 25 yards. Like it's only 25 yards. The thing is, so like this is since Jan 1, 2026. If we just take a look back though, like so I see it, maybe this is just they said the last 5 starts because the last 5 starts outside of the Rocket Classic, which is the most recent start, he was horrible on approach. But like The rest of this is
We're
phenomenal.
not looking at particular approach, right? He's never going to be a good long iron player. We're looking at.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that number had to come. That number had to come from a small segment of a recent performance, because like if you go back, nothing else in this profile, like none of this is good, right? Like this is an indication. Yeah, it's not completely segmented from 125 to 150, but like I'm assuming like the good information is coming from his last 5, right? Like it's got to be, because the rest of it's not good. Even if he's very,
it's not always the case. It's a little funny because it's not truly the case if a guy's a full loser on approach that you see that certain ranges he's not good from. And I see this time and time again. So that's the reason the buckets are nice, because some guys can have a terrible approach week, but it's because they hit their approaches within a certain range horribly.
what I'm saying is if he was number 1 since 2026, if you look at that entire course, it wouldn't matter that
it is 2026. I just checked. He's number 1. Go to the PGA Tour. He's number 1.
What I'm saying is it's would be kind of crazy, because like this. So you said 125 to 150, right? You said 125 to 150, but like 100 to 150, he's 178. So like because 125 to 150, if he's number 1, like
no,
is he that?
No,
hold on. Let me. I want to ask you.
No, you're not. You're actually reading it wrong though. So 178th is just what he's ranked in the world. That's not what he's ranked in that. He's top 30 in that bucket.
So he's like, what is that? So he's in the top 50. So, but what I'm saying is
that's not what he's ranked in the world.
Okay. So that's, what do you think? That's like around 50. Like he's in around the top 50, maybe a little lower than the top 50 in that. What I'm saying is.
I'm pulling it up now, and this is a guy. We're going long-winded on a guy that's 6'3".
I know, but I do. This is generally a place of curiosity. And what I'm saying is this: if he's so good from 125 to 150, this is such a small bucket. 100 to 150 is only 25 yards. That means like he's a really bad negative from 1 to 125. Like if he's so positive from 125 to 150, and he's barely a positive value,
it doesn't mean that whatsoever, because he's a very good gainer in that category, and that's what his best is. And you're going to see 30 to 40.
I don't see the data was suggested here. The data was suggested.
No, and I'll pull it up for you so you can see, because it's Chatfield's first year in tour, so this is just taking the full tour season into account, and he is indeed number 1. I'll pull it up for you too. So
yeah, I mean, again, I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm just saying it's weird that it doesn't show up in the data golf data.
It's not, no, because I looked at it as well, because I was curious to see why it's just based on they condensed the buckets a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah. So this is the whole time I thought I was sharing this. No, what I'm saying is like, look, the reason I think it's segmented is because like this. The last 5 starts, like a lead on approach. The rest of the season since 2026, no matter how good he's been in that bucket, it would at least not draw down the rest of his numbers. And then if you go, the reason I'm saying this, and then you segment it out, right? Like you're seeing this number would be better since 2026, since Jan 1, 2026, would be better, even if it's just 125 to 150, if he's number 1 in the field. So I'm not disputing that he's number 1, but like that means from 1 to 125, he's got to be worse than average. If he was such a gainer, I'm just saying if you
I'll show you here. Okay.
Yeah, I want to see.
You can actually see that. You can see the data for yourself and what I'm looking at.
There's a discrepancy.
Let me finish. It's measured round. No, let me go. Let me lay this out for you, because this is the guy I'm diving into deep here. So this is measured rounds, 43 measured rounds, the whole 2026 PGA Tour season, and these are the stats you're looking at, right? So, and what matters? How many rounds? Let me dive into this. This is 43 measured rounds. So pretty big indication of what he's been this season, right? So driving accuracy percentage, we know that's pretty valuable here. 3rd, not going to be in the left rough. Total driving efficiency is 1st, which is crazy considering he's very short. We're looking at our proximity buckets, right? So we have approaches from 275 plus. Obviously, very short hair, not going to be good with the long irons. Pretty much dead last in the PGA Tour. And why you're seeing on Data Golf that he's so bad an approach is probably for this exact reason here. And then we'll dive a little bit deeper, and then we see approaches. Let me finish.
But that doesn't make sense with the data on Data Golf. It just doesn't, because this is. It
does make sense. Let me just finish.
Go ahead.
This is the correct data. This is the PGA Tour data, where all data aggregators like Data Golf and the Rabbit Hole pull their data. So this is directly correct. It is the exact numbers and where they are correct. So all the data is pulled from PGA Tour site here. Whether it's Data Golf,
there's a discrepancy in the data. Like I'm no quant, but that doesn't match up. It doesn't match up.
This data is actually correct, right? So 125 to 150. What do you see here? He is 1st on the PGA Tour. in this, so number of attempts, right? So we're seeing this is directionally correct. So 50 to 125, slightly worse, right? So, but within this range, he is number one. And then we look at his even shorter irons. This is 75 to 100, 11th. Shorter wedges, very good. And it makes sense. This guy is very short, a very accurate player. So listen, David Sheffield by no means is going to win this tournament. But yeah, he is a guy, and look, when you're looking at the lower ranges, that's definitely worth a consideration flyer, because this skill set perfectly lines up what you need to do at Sedgefield. And you can hit fairways and hit greens.
I agree. That data looks, hold on. That data looks great. I'm not saying that data right there is wrong. What I'm confused about is how many rounds is that?
43 measured rounds.
40. So is that the entire? So 43. So how many?
That's the entire PGA. So you can segment it by season. So this is 2026 season. He's only been on tour 1 year, so like obviously it's the 2026 season. But you can isolate it. You can silo the 2026 and then beyond or before. I mean, so it's 2026 season. So yeah, Davis Chatfield is a guy I'm going to stand on this week. And
see, is your mic a little choppy? I feel plug it back in. I'm getting echo on this. I don't know if you have it pulled up somewhere. I'm getting like a gnarly echo. Like I just hear myself talking. Let me see if I just. I'm gonna turn mine off for a second.
I think that's you. I don't hear the echo one bit.
Okay. Let me see now. Better. Still a little shaky.
Anyway, so you know we're working from back to front here, but I think just looking at the stats, like yeah. So that's why I always like to dive in a little bit deeper and just see, okay, is the data that Data Golf is getting directionally correct, right? Because we see that, okay, well, now this information flowing from Data Golf is, and the buckets are segmented differently, and I think that's why. I think that's why you get a little discrepancy, but you're not getting him being a loser in those buckets. You're getting him being a significant gainer to who he is in these buckets, because these are guys like Scheffler, all the top players in the world on Data Golf. So it's like it makes sense that he's, pretty good in that area, top 30-ish from the range on Data Golf, but.
Dylan, but I'm glad you showed me that, because I do believe with the PGA Tour, the confusion I have is this: the data in Data Golf just doesn't match up. If you use the same filter for 2026, it just doesn't match, because if he's number one in the bucket, hold on, no, it's just this is the difference. I think they have. It's
different buckets.
No. It doesn't matter. Hold on. You show me the bucket. So now that I see the buckets, watch this. What I'm going to show you again is the data doesn't match up. It just frankly doesn't. If he's number one in the field, with PGA Tour says he's number one in the field.
No, Taylor. No. They're different buckets. They're different measurements, and that's why you're getting a different number. It's actually correct.
Hold on.
What you're not understanding is if there was a 125 to 150 bucket on Data Golf, who would be first? That's just the facts of the matter.
Okay, but Dylan, hold on. No. Let me square this circle for me. So you showed me the other bucket. He was still 40. He was top 40 in the other bucket that accounts for the other half of this. Hold on. It accounts for the other half in this range. If this was true, he would be much higher on this field.
No, because it doesn't. It actually is. You read that wrong, because it is not the other half of that range. It is 75 to 125. So that adds the under range where he is significantly better. So maybe it's that small range where he's a little bit worse, and that's what things his number.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you then. That means he's absolutely horrible from 100 to 125. Because if that's the case, he's got to be absolutely horrible.
No.
There's no other. Hold on. There's no other way to square that circle for the fact that he's in this range from 1 to 150. He's not even top 50. So if he's not top 50, he's number one from 125 to 150. That means he's a negative gainer from 150.
He's 100% top 50 here. Yes, he's 100%. That's top 35 at worst in the 100 to 150 range.
Okay, I'll go through right now. I'm just copy these guys in here. See how many people there actually are.
So, anyways, I mean, I know you're gonna pick apart Davis Chatfield, but
I like it. I like that you showed me that.
He's a great player, 6'3". So, like, I'm saying multiple data sets, and that's what you're saying. All the data ultimately
does 51. He's 51. He's 51.
Yeah.
So Dylan, I'm not saying that data's wrong. I'm just saying it's so weird that there's a discrepancy. They're just objectively, as you look at two data sets, right? That doesn't make sense. He has to be a negative from 1 to 125.
You know what? No, maybe not. Maybe Data Golf could be a lagger. And the reason being is it makes sense for them to be a lagger, mostly because, like, a lot of Davis Chatfield's recent performances are his best performances.
Exactly.
So like it would make more sense if data golf is lagging and not picking up the recent stuff, where the PGA Tour
100%.
has the whole season and has all his data from his best, where the ISCO, the
John which were the best the last few tournaments. That I agree with you.
And that's what makes sense. So, but in these,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying.
There's skill sets here, and on the KFT, this doesn't matter. But on the KFT, he has won a tournament here in North Carolina, so used to this geography, topography. So it's just a guy I'm going to be playing in the 888 probably, which is maybe a mistake, but at this price, I really like him a lot.
I like him, dude. That status, yeah.
So it doesn't matter, who cares whether it's good or great? Well, I'm looking at it being potentially great. You're looking at it being potentially just good. Either way,
no. I know it's great.
No, either way, it's a good guy to kind of pick off at the 6-3 range.
Yeah. I mean, at that cost too. It's like, but if you in the bucket that you're looking at, like it looks great on PGA Tour, and I think to your point, like maybe just something lags from the PGA to the data golf data. Cool. Well, we can start back up at the top, sir. There's guys I know you like up there.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Can you hear me okay? I'm still getting like a gnarly echo. So Chatfield, interesting. Again, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use the data golf with maybe there's a little caveat there. And maybe someone could explain it to me in a way that would make it make sense to why there's like that gap. But yeah, Jackson Coyvin's a guy I like a lot. Again, this is a course that values accuracy. We know that Coyvin is highly accurate. He's also a gamer. I like these type of courses that can become like, hey, just like put it in inside 12 feet on every hole. I think I like him a lot. He's like maybe the main guy, and I do feel like I think he's right outside the top 7. Maybe he's inside the top 7. I know he's like on the line for the championship. So I know he needs a good performance here. I just do think he's a good fit. The other guy I kind of liked was Hideki, but sometimes I feel like Hideki just shells it in, so that's like a downgrade to him. He has been playing a lot better lately, but those are kind of like the two guys at the very top that I'm the most interested in. I mentioned Gerard. The issue I have with Gerard is what we talked about. Like he gained almost 2 strokes putting last week, and like the rest of his game wasn't very good. And like why you want to play Gerard is because he's hyper accurate, good on approach, and like he wasn't really either of those things last week. And like the weeks before he has been, so maybe it was just a blip on the radar. But he gained basically the T8 was all done with the putter, right? And he was just like pretty much even across the board with all the rest of the clubs. And so like I like Gerard.
Yeah, I love Coyvin, and about Gerard is like Gerard is a local guy. It doesn't matter. Like Coyvin's also, funny enough, plays out of Chapel Hill, the local guy. But it doesn't matter. This topography is so easy to parse out and dive into. There's just not. I don't think there's going to be any advantage to being local to this area whatsoever. So yeah, Gerard is a guy that I think is a fine fit, just fine. No, I don't think it's anything special there. But other than that, I think Coyvin's is amazing. So. And you talk about stats. I just think, like, sometimes the data could lag a little bit, but ultimately you're going to get the best profile for these guys potentially. Like, the thing with data golf is you can't segment it to the last X number of rounds, right? Maybe if you had a smaller data set, you could do that, but data golf only lets you do it in certain data sets. So you have a wider picture of maybe when a guy was worse, as you mentioned. So that's probably what you're seeing, and maybe they don't pick up the most current stuff as quickly as the PGA Tour stats do, right? Because a lot of what these guys are doing is they're just exporting all the PGA Tour stats and the shot link data to their website. So, and that is interesting. Yeah, but like Coyvin is a good example. So Chatfield is ranked first in that area, but Coyvin's not allowed to be ranked because he doesn't have a full amount of rounds. But he actually has, looking at the foot percentage, it's like 19 feet 4 inches is his average from 100 to 125, which is absolutely amazing. So yeah, Coyvin's another guy. He's a guy that's a dog too. I love a guy that like just absolutely gets after it, and I think we could see scoring conditions pretty good this week. Pretty soft, receptive course. Another reason you're gonna have to hit fairways though is if you're playing from the rough this week, I think you're gonna see a little lift clean in place. You're just gonna be so far behind the field. So I'm not valuing around the green stats, any of that whatsoever this week, just because. I want guys in the fairway. If they're not in the fairway, they're not going to compete anyway. So all my buckets of guys are going to be guys in the fairway. And that kind of leads me to the next guy I think that people have undervalued a little bit, and that's Alex Fitzpatrick, little Fitzy. And the thing about him is at the 2 overseas tournaments where he should play better, he kind of missed fairways. Was pretty inaccurate. But his total game is very accuracy driven. And on a club down course like this where his proximity bucket is so good, I think Fitzpatrick could be sub 10% owned. Just people, you think about Fitzpatrick, little Fitz, and you're like, maybe not the best fit for him, but I kind of like him in this club down accuracy iron type course. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I love it. I like. He's also got that dude. He's got that Chris Gotterup, that Scotty Scheffler, that Jackson Coyne. Like he wants to play. He's a competitor. Like I like a guy that's out there like trying to improve and like some of these guys. Like no offense to Hideki, but Hideki's not a killer.
No, dude, he's got the opposite. Like I think that the guy on the far side, people that I think agree with this is just Cantlay. Cantlay's the complete opposite. Cantlay just like he never feels like he wants to win. Like he just like always like he's like I'm happy. He's like now last week we had a chance to like top 5, top 10. He just like you know what he just shells it in. Where Coyden's firing out pins. Like Coyden was the leader when he won the 3M was leading and then still drove the green for you. Like he's firing at pins. He's not scared. He's like I'm going. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what you need. He just shells it in. Sorry. It's coming back at you full.
Dude, it's nuts right now. It's like transformer overload. There's some choppiness going on with the internet. Dude, it's been weird. Did you hear it? Quick segue, like we crashed into the moon and I saw some report this morning. You know, we didn't crash. I think SpaceX launched a rocket into the moon. Just they had like crash landed there. And I saw some like skeptical, like, oh, we've seen a bunch of UFOs on this dark side of the moon. There could be a UFO base. Dude, I love to like, you know, lean into those conspiracies. But my phone has been working, so every time that shit happens, I'm like, all right. And a solar eclipse happening on next Wednesday, maybe. So there's a lot of shit.
Here's something funny. We should have that story. When we both had new builds. We bought the farm a couple years ago, but before that, we bought new builds in this little development. And before someone knows, there was this big, like the power went out, the internet went out, everything went out. And then this is hilarious.
Don't continue with the story. I'm gonna join and come back. Continue with the story. I'm gonna join and come back. All right, keep going.
Yeah. So we go outside. Taylor maybe has a small level. We're not sure, but we go outside and the cars won't start. New Subaru, and just no start. Obviously, it's a highly electrical vehicle. You're like, oh no, is this the apocalypse? Is this the end? And it's hilarious because cell phones aren't working. Nothing's working. You're like, okay, this is it. Time to prep. And then we're in this little condensed neighborhood, and you're like, this is probably the worst place you want to be. So. Just looking at that, that's probably maybe one of the reasons you want to buy the farm there is you're like, hey, I want to get out of this as quickly as possible. Obviously, it wasn't anything. It just seems like, well, maybe it was something. We'll never know, right? But why brand new vehicle? Maybe purchased a couple months previous to that it just completely dead. Just no start. Just battery cooked. You're like, did we get attacked here? And it was kind of hilarious, just our overreaction.
It's just like a series of small little events. Dude, it's so much better now. It was so annoying. It was like choppy as hell. I couldn't hear shit. I logged on to see what it looked like, and it was just unbelievably choppy. But it's better now. We're back. We're back to. So you told him the story of us like we thought it was over. Mackenzie rushed home. Hey, get in your bunkers, folks. It's time. That's not the case though. Remember, dude, the other story? Did you tell him? Did you say the story? Remember when there was all those like UAP sightings and like the government shooting down shit? I'm like too locked into it. I'm like, we're like going to Food Lion at 12 o'clock, and we're just such like
That's so hilarious. And you're buying like things that are gonna expire in a couple of months. like you're not gonna survive.
Yeah, dude.
We have a farm, and I love living out here, and this is great. But like, if some cataclysmic event happens, just hit me in the head with it. Like honestly, I don't really want to fight in the post-apocalyptic world.
No,
I don't want to watch my kids starve to death, and I don't generally want that. I'm a fighter, and I listen. If I'm alive, I'm gonna do my best to survive. But I don't want to come to I gotta kill my neighbor because he's trying to steal my chickens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If life's come down to you eating emergency beans, like maybe it's just not even worth buying the emergency beans. I guess the moral of this story from a DFS perspective is like, I want Jackson Coyden in my bunker over Hideki and Patrick Kent. Give me a fighter, dude. Give me a fighter. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, Davis Chaffin is my emergency beans of the week. I need him to. He needs to eat his Wheaties and get a little gusto. Because
I like Chatfield. I like Chatfield a lot. I think the numbers you suggested make him. Yeah, you made your case.
But I think I'm not alone. I think if you look in the 6K range, Chatfield does pop in a lot of models. It just makes sense because he's like the only real option down there. I mean, I'm lying if I said I didn't play a little Brent Snedeker here. I actually kind of like his form a little bit. Joe Damon. These guys are absolutely.
You're such a sucker, dude.
How am I a sucker? I got cojones that you don't have. People see Brent Snedeker and they will never click his name. But like in a course like this, he can actually compete. If the putter's hot, he can compete. So like, you put your nose up against Brent Snedeker. But like, no one's gonna play him in the tournament. So I'm gonna do that for sure.
Yeah, I like him. I see.
Guys at the top. I just want to keep it going with guys at top. Tom Kim, another guy I really do like. Just
Yep.
driver, putter, driver as far as accuracy driver. Good with the buckets here. Coming off the win at the Scottish. Just a guy that's gonna be riding high. I think riding high
You
into
look
the
good overseas. You look great overseas.
great
I mean,
overseas.
yeah.
So for sure, definitely like him a lot. A lot of people are gonna be on Aaron Rye, and that's fine. I generally like. I played a little bit of Aaron Rye, full transparency, but he's a guy I always get off of at high ownership because
Me too.
there's a lot of volatility in his game. Like he could totally miss putts, and if he's
Yeah.
missing putts, he could totally miss the cut here, right? Obviously accurate, decent with his irons, a game or two. He's a gamer in and out, so I see the merit in him, but fading that ownership for sure. And I didn't mention this at the top, but I'm playing zero Cam Young this week. The guy was throwing darts last week, but they couldn't hit a 5-footer to save his life, and that doesn't matter. I just think at 30% ownership, which you're probably gonna see him and maybe potentially Koivin at as well. Just not gonna play that.
Yeah, it is an Aaron Rye course. So I understand the fade at ownership, but yeah, if you're like, hey, design a course for Aaron Rye, I think you're gonna get, dude. Aaron Rye will be 25% owned. Fitzpatrick will be 12. So like they're in the same range. I think that is a strategic way to play it, especially in the high dollar stuff. It's like, oh, give me the half as owned, maybe a third owned guy, and Alex Fitzpatrick, who I think has equal chance to win this tournament to Aaron Rye. So I do like that. Other guys in the AK range, I don't have a ton of interest. Are you in on Gerard then? Is that what I'm hearing? Are you still in on? Like, I like that. I mean, it's just like I'm somewhat worried. Like the stuff in the bag wasn't great last week, and Gerard having to rely on him gaining almost 2 strokes putting is not the Gerard you want to play because he will lose a 2-stroke putting. Like you play him because like, oh, if he's an even putter, he'll win, and he almost won last week, but he gained 2 strokes with the putter. It's like I'm worried that like if the rest of the bag isn't working, there's like some downside there for sure. Because like he could just miss a couple putts and like before you know, he had 2 bad days and he misses the cut. Like that's the downside with Gerard if he doesn't bring the putter.
Gerard's fine. Gerard's fine. I mean, he's a good
Yeah.
play. I mean, 9-3, you're paying for him. JT up there is maybe a contrarian angle you could take, but Gerard's fine. I mean, as far as course fit goes, this is a pretty good course fit, right? Accurate guy that go with his irons. But yeah, just more of the recent stuff is what I'm not liking. I watched him. Obviously, I had him in the 888 last week. Needed him to play well, and he did pretty good. But over the weekend, really just the putter carried him. I saw him hit multiple 20-foot plus putts, and that's just not something that's typically in his game.
No.
So if he's gonna be a little bit more wild off the tee and miss some approach shots, I don't want to rely on the putter this week. So yeah, but I'm gonna go down to the high sevens because I just don't know how you quit Ben Coles. People are like, oh, I can't play him. Like the purely driving accuracy approach player and monster that he is right now. Like the recent form is so good, like so good that I can't stop at 7-7. He's just such a good play to me. In the same range, Blades Brown. I love my young guys, my young cats who can just fire at pins. I think Blades Brown's a guy that is not just a firing at pin guy. He's a pretty accurate driver as well. So I really like him. I'm not sure why he's in this field. Could be because locking his tour card up on the KFT, but I really like that he's going to play here. I think he has a good chance for top 10 in this field. And I think it's going to score. I think this year we could see the score being 20, 25, somewhere in that range. I'm pretty confident that, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe 26 win this year. I think. We're in this part of the country and it's very receptive. I don't see a lot of wind. This is not a very wind sensitive course either. Tree line, obviously. So I think you're gonna see guys go pretty low if they can hit putts this week. So Ben Coles is a guy that I did see, and I saw with the putter last week that he actually could hit some of these putts, and he's gonna give himself a plethora of shots inside 10 feet. So I love to see that. Nothing's more infuriating. I think last week I saw him stuff at the 2-foot, and then he missed a 2-footer, and that's gonna break your heart every time. But yeah, just a great play in and out. So. What else you got in the sevens?
Yeah, so this is the thing about the sevens. So from 7-9 to 7-6, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that I just honestly I love. I think they're all great fits. I want to bet all these guys. I may just throw like half a unit on each or like a quarter unit on each of these guys to win. And I'm gonna name them in order. Maybe I'll start with a guy I like the most in this range. That's Doug Gim at 7-8. Like this is a Doug Gim course. Like obviously, like the course history here isn't great, so I wonder if people will avoid that. But like he's just such a good fit. He's also one of those guys. Like when he gets hot, like he can just rattle off a couple of top tens. I feel like I like him a lot. I like the skill set. I like the profile. He's hyper accurate guy. Another guy that fits that mold here, Dylan, is Alex Noren. He's like this. This is like the perfect Alex Noren course. Like he's like a little bit worse than Aaron Knight at everything, but like pretty much the same profile as Aaron Knight. I do think Noren will be owned, but I think for good reason. I think he's just like a safe. I think he gets to. I think a top 10 is safe. He doesn't feel like he has enough stuff to win. I don't know what it is. Like the spike stuff isn't like high enough to win, but I do like him a lot. I will bet him. I think I want to bet him to win as well. Blades Brown, you already mentioned him. I like him a lot. Profile looks great. Ben Cole, you mentioned Blades Brown a little bit?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, and Ben Cole's don't need to dive in him. Like he's the fourth guy on the list, and I guess the fifth guy, and I kind of put him in the order too that I would want to play them. Doug M being at the top of that list, but the fifth guy is Alex Smalley, and like the reason he's the bottom of the tier for me is that like the recent stuff hasn't been good, like the recent iron play. But like if you go back 3 tournaments ago, if you erase the last 3 tournaments, like everyone's playing Alex Smalley, like he was so good with the approach game for so long, especially in like the middle chunk of the season. And we've seen some of that waiver, but like if he can find his form here, this is a perfect Alex Smalley course. He's hyper accurate, great on approach, and he can spike with the putter too. So this is like a course that all five of those guys like. And maybe you can pick apart some of it, but I like him a lot.
Right now, I mean,
I think hold on. I think
a couple lists of DFS makes sense, but as far as bets go, Doug Gim's a loser. Like he cannot win.
Yeah.
Like he's great. I mean, he's a great course fit, but like, can he win here? Really? Are we sure?
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like the winner, those five, I think one of those guys is going to be like one or two of those guys will be critical to your team. If you pull up, let me just share Alex Noren's stat, but this is what I'm looking at when I look at the data golf. So like he kind of fits that. Like he's a poor man's Russell Henley to some degree. And no disrespect.
Dude, Noren's great, and I do like him on courses that you have to be accurate, but I also like him on courses where you need a little around the green game, and you don't need that in this course.
Yeah. But for me, it's like, so like this is, I'm not sharing it. This is what I'm looking at here. So like, obviously this is just a split of the skill profile, but like highly accurate. Obviously can spike with the putter. The concern with Nord is like, you see some of these spike performances, the last 5 tournaments, if you just filter that on approach, been horrible. Losing 3 strokes on approach. I mean, 2.5 strokes are worse on approach for 2 of the tournaments. You don't love that.
New York's Open's forgivable. The Canadian Open's not forgivable.
Not forgivable.
But
yeah, like if this is, I think if he can just kind of find the form that he'd found in the middle part of season where he had a 9 T7, I think like he can contend here for sure. I think this is a good Alex Noren course based on that profile. This is kind of the skill set I'm looking for. The recent approach play, that is a concern.
The buckets are not very good for him.
They're not very good. They're not very good. Alex Smalley is a guy that I discussed, and this is what I'm mentioning is that we've seen quite a big downtick, but this is the core part of the season I was mentioning where it's T2, T7, T17, T2, T3. It's just like he does here what you want to do well, like gain on approach, be highly accurate with the golf ball. Like he's not going to outdrive anybody. He's around. Now look at the profile though. This is what I'm talking about. Like this is the type of skill set that I like. Again, dude, if we erase maybe like 2 or 3 of these tournaments here, like he's one of the highest owned guys in the field. But because of the bad recent form, I think people will just avoid him. But look, the skill set there is great for Alex Smalley. And like obviously,
he's another guy from he went to Duke, so yeah maybe from local ties.
And so like if he refines the form, I do like him a lot. But from that range, that's like the high 7s. I really like that. Maybe I'll let you go into low 7s. The 7K range is so important this week. I think there's a lot of guys in the range like high.
It's always so important. It's always where you end and always where people end. And that's why I always go like, I'm like, can I play a stinky guy like Davis Chatfield at 6'3"? Because it's gonna make my build a little different. I'm playing Chatfield and fading Cam Young, right? So like I'm looking at things and ways to get a little bit different, and I think that's a good way to do it. Love Coin. The bottom 7s, there's really not much that I'm playing down there. As far as things I do like, though, obviously you mentioned some of the guys, but Bud Cauley, another guy on a short course. Ben James, guy I like a lot. Cole's a guy I can't play in a course like this where accuracy does mean something. Rio, his Satsuni.
My favorite.
He's a guy that is a great course fit down here. Obviously, Rio. There's a ton of names you can collect. I mean, Sepp Straka is a guy that, the recent form's horrible, but long-term fit is a great fit here. So, yeah, all these names down here are definitely in play. I'm actually living high and low. So like I always see, and this is just a way I build, is like, okay, a lot of times the build will always fund you to this mid to low 7K range. So I'm living in, okay, I'm going to play guys like Chatfield, go high, low 8s, high 7s there, and then play some of the guys at the top and just hopefully get my build a little different, right? Especially in the trip 8s, right? Maybe in the, I mentioned I'm playing guys stinky like Snedeker and Joe Diamond at the bottom. Just, I think this is a course that does, of course, it's not going to separate a lot of these long hitters from the short hitters, and obviously the stats bear that out. But I just think we're gonna see if my strategy is right. And I'll victory lap slightly my strategy last week. Although Thor won, guys like Knapp and Goddard missed the cut. I just don't think the separation. You know what sucks is like the distance only helped that last day of the tournament when it got really wet and you really needed distance at the Rocket there. So I was looking good until Siwoo and Henley pooped their pants in the last day. But yeah, this is a course obviously very much different. You're not going to be able to drive your way out of over trouble here. I think it's going to be a mistake if you try to hit driver after tee too often here. So yeah, anyone with an accuracy, moniker is absolutely in play. But more importantly to me is I need your proximity within that 100, 150 range to be pretty dialed in. If you're pretty bad with your short iron wedges here, I'm Xing you off the card even if you're accurate.
Yeah. So I like a lot of the names you mentioned. Maybe top of the list for me is Ben James. I just feel like I love the profile. I kind of want to buy low on a prospect.
I mean, I've been playing Ben James for a few weeks now.
I know.
Like, people know. And his coach came out and was like, he's one of the best ball strikers I've ever seen. So ball striking will play at this course. And he's not gonna sneak by anyone, but I don't think he'll be
he'll probably be my biggest bet this week. And then, so just at the number, I like it a lot. Rio probably is the better fit, and I think like just been better objectively. The guy I think you maybe missed that you didn't talk about, and like I think you probably would like him is Christian Kirk. Like he fits the 1 to 150 so well, and like we saw last week, like he looked great. The last 3 tournaments on approach, he's been phenomenal, and he just lost with a putter last week. If he gains anything with the putter, he wins the tournament. So like I think that's a guy, and putting can be variable. And he lost a little bit, but like the approach buckets look great. I do like him a lot, and I wonder if people go back to him after the performance last week. But I think like he could get overlooked potentially. But like it's kind of hard to ignore what we saw last week. So and I watched a couple of shots of his eyes. He just looked kind of dialed in, right? And then the numbers bared that out as well. So yeah, those are my guys there: Christian Kirk, Ben James, Rio Hitsatsuni. It would be like my favorite 3, and I will filter those guys in out.
Yeah, listen, I agree 100%. Those guys, I mean, Chris Kirk just been so good lately. This is, of course, we know he can compete at. So yeah, definitely on the list. And I think Chris Kirk could probably get some steam this week. He's gonna pop up in recency models as well. So yeah, he's fine. But yeah, there's always some volatility with Chris Kirk, especially with that putter. So you don't have to be a good putter here, obviously, but it's gonna help, right? Like Koiven, good within the bucket ranges, accurate drive, but Koiven's also a dog, and he can lead the field in putting. If Koiven leads the field in putting this week, he's probably gonna win. So Chris Kirk just doesn't have that in his bag. He really has to hit those approaches close and hit some putts. So, yeah. Anything else on the sixes? I mentioned Chatfield. Anyone else you want to add there?
I mean, you always got it as a funsy play. Throw a little web on one team, maybe. Like he's like the
You're talking to me about Brant Snedeker. Like I mean,
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say he's literally Brant Snedeker reincarnate. There's not too much interest. Like we saw Riley spike last week. I don't believe in that. Putnam is a guy at 6. What is he? 6'7". I think the skill set is good. Right? We've seen some. I think you as well have played him this season. But like he's a good fit here. I think he's a guy that could play. I just don't know how much upside is in him. And the approach buckets are decent. I mean, we've seen his highest finish T5, T2 this season actually, the American Express. It's weird. He lost almost out pretty much. I guess he gained somewhere. I can't see where he gained. He lost almost everywhere that tournament and somehow won the turn or got second. So, which is crazy. So that's really it. There's not too much else at 6K range. Phillips is a guy, Dylan, that I liked last week.
Terrible fit.
Yeah, but bad fit. He's just so inaccurate. You can't play him. He made the cut, but T65. Yuck. All right, last guy maybe Aaron Wise. Let's do a quick deep dive in Aaron Wise. How do you feel about Aaron Wise?
He's fine. I mean, he's a guy that everyone was on that 1 week. I faded him, and it is fine. But nothing I'm gonna prioritize this week. But I get the play. I mean, the guy's coming back after that long hiatus just because of his mental health stuff. But I wish the best for him. But I just don't know if I'm gonna play him this week. I don't know if this course speaks to his strengths. So.
Yeah.
And do we really know what his strengths are right now? He just hasn't played enough golf, right? Like I like guys where you get a long tail of data on him. And it's just like Aaron Wise isn't who he was before he left when he was maybe a top 30 golfer. He's not that guy anymore, but like who is he? We're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. All right. Well, give me your 3 bets you're making. You probably making more than that, but just give me some guys I can clip.
Yeah, I bet Davis Chatfield top 20. I mean, I already mentioned the other guys, but I bet Fitzpatrick, bet Tom Kim, and then Davis Chatfield top 20. Those are the bets I'm rocking with now. I don't know, I kind of wanted to bet Koiven at the number. I just can't bet him. I just think there's a good chance just Koiven wins this week. He's a guy that I just, strokes gain mentality is a hard thing to quantify. So you have to watch a lot of golf to see these guys. But he's got that strokes gain mentality that I do like. The guy is just an absolute gamer. He's going to step up and hit every shot he's hit. It's like, there's certain guys on tour. I mentioned Cantley. Just once they're kind of out of it, they just shell it in. They're like, what? They're done playing golf. Like Koyman's not that guy. Like I saw him last week. He didn't really have a chance to win, but he was still getting after it. Like he's like, all right, I'm gonna step and hit these shots. Like, and I like the kid that he's got to win off his back already. There's gonna be no pressure. And like you said, it doesn't matter that he needs to play good to make it into the playoffs, but it does help. He's already got that gamer mentality. He's going to show up in shape, and I think he's going to, easily top 5 this week. So I think there's a good chance if you're asking me who wins, I think Jackson Koyman wins this golf tournament.
I like it. So I guess for my betting card, definitely Ben James at 65-1. I like Doug Ginn at 45-1 as well. I was just, while we were talking, I was seeing, is it worth betting a guy like Brant Snedeker here to win? What is the number on him? It's got to be close up. I'm like scrolling.
You did all that shit talking about me playing Brant Snedeker, and you're like, you know what? Now I might bet him. I mean, it's just like it's a really tough course for. I mean, if there's a course you can win, it's going to be somewhere like Sedgefield, though.
Yeah. I guess I'll take 69-1 with Norn. So maybe those would be my guys. Alex Norn 69-1, Ben James 65-1, and Doug Ginn 45-1.
I like all kudos for you did hit Thor last week, and you also got him on a parlay where. You got the Guardians World Series and Chargers Super Bowl for like.
Dude, dude, there's some correlation in there. The God of Thunder. Think about it. Thor, we have the Guardians, and then we have the Chargers. Come on, like there is like some symmetry to the world.
That's like elementary. Just on a fixture, which is fine. It's just Guardians, fun. This is golf talk today, but the Guardians did call up their top prospect, or maybe their second prospect, top 50 overall. They're playing to win this year. They ain't shelling it in, so
they have to. I think they realize the AL so non-competitive. Like they can actually win. They can make it out of the AL for sure.
All right, man. Well, thanks for chopping up golf. I know you hated Chatfield, and he's gonna Chatfield rub it in your face.
Dude, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. No, I like Chatfield. That's not. There was me saying the data doesn't make sense in data golf is not a shot at Chatfield. I'm saying the data in data golf doesn't make sense. That was just a fact. Yeah. Like the data was not showing what you were showing me in PJ. That's all it was. I like Chatfield. I'm glad you played him.
All right, well, listen, thanks for chopping it up. We'll be back. Yeah. Good luck. If you don't win Cinchfield, I hope I do. I really hope I do, actually, because it's the last big tournament. I need to get this golf monkey off my back. I've won every other tournament, and I think you've won. I mean, I don't think I've ever.
We never won a big shipper in golf. Like,
no.
We've had been close, but like we've been in first after 3 days, after 1 day, after 2 days, just never after day 4. Like
you know what Ben Close is like Ben Coles. Ben Coles is a guy that's like Ben Coles is always gonna be a guy that's like close to winning, but just like never can do enough. And that's the reason he's such a good player in DFS. Is like, dude, Ben Coles is just he's an absolute stripe show right now, and like he hits this low, like accurate driver too. It's just like I watched him. He was on the feature coverage, and just like. Yeah, there's something about his game I really like, and he doesn't waste a lot of time either. So the problem with Tom Kim, who I also clicked this week, is like I can't watch him play golf. Horrible. It's so slow. Yeah, like sometimes I look at I was like, is the TV paused? No, he's just still standing over his putt.
The announcers hate it too. The announcers hate. They're like, why is he taking his time? Like and then he's been good though, so it's like it's working.
Dude, nothing's worse so when the announcers, Tom Kim's taking forever, and then like they still show the putt, and the guy's like, there's a guy, the cameraman's like blocking the hole. It's like, well, you waited forever for this guy to hit his putt. You're not even showing the putt roll in.
Yeah.
There's nothing more fun or sadder when you watch a guy on PGA Tour live and you just watch him burn edges and you're like, I need that putt to fall for XYZ amount of dollars, and it doesn't happen. Or you're like sweating a guy not to hit a 50-foot putt and he just like drains a 50-footer, and you're like, could never be me. Could never be me. Always the
bridesmaid, never the bride.
The antagonist there. As the protagonist, I'd like for something to fall the hero's way. So, anyways,
but you're the hero for yourself. Everyone else, the other guys, some guy won a bunch of money off of him. He's the hero there.
Dude, I'm the hero. You're the villain. I'll slay the dragons. All right, man. We'll be back. Talk baseball tomorrow.
Yeah.
Later, man.
All right, see you,
Good luck. Goodbye. Good luck.
Good luck, guys.